for the LA Angels managerial job, according to Bob Nightingale. Pujols would be a logical choice as he is already on the Angels payroll for his 10-year personal services contract. And after reports circulated that Mizzou basketball would be participating in the Big Players Era Festival tournament in November 2026, it appears as if now that is not the case. That will be a highly sought-after Tiger team with what is now the top-ranked recruiting class in 2026. KTRS weather. Today cloudy, high of 82. Tonight clear with an overnight low of 62. And tomorrow sunny with a high of 85. Right now we have 72 degrees. The time is 10:08. I'm Sobe Bay, KTRS News, the talk of St. Louis.
And now, the Frank and Jill Show. It's Frank Cusimano, Jill Farmer on the Big 550 KTRS, the talk of St. Louis. Powered by STL Medical Weight Loss. See the Dr. Joe difference at stlmedweightloss.com.
Morning and welcome, Frank and Jill Show, Big 550 KTRS, Royal Banks of Missouri text line 84126. You can watch us on YouTube and Facebook. Good guest list, Sarah Fensky, executive editor of St. Louis Magazine, and Scott Morris from the UMSL Entrepreneurship and Innovation Center executive. He's recently named one of the most influential, impactful, and innovative leaders in the region. They got a cool new program at UMSL. I wish they would have had that when I was there.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited to hear what the students are coming up with and how UMSL is helping those ideas become sort of the next thing. I mean, you know, if you look back to this, Mark Zuckerberg started Facebook based on kind of some ideas that happened when he was in college. Now, he did quit college to go make that happen. Hopefully, that's not necessarily the universities want to see people, of course, finish what they're doing, but capturing that creative spark at that time in their lives, I think it's kind of going to be fun to hear how they're making the most of that.
There's a little bounce in your step today because you just got the news. The Notebook is coming to Fox. Coming to the Fox as a musical. I know you're excited about that.
I did not. I was just exactly 10:09 a.m. years old when I knew that news. I did like the book.
Look, guys who say they don't like it actually probably like it.
Did you like the movie too?
The movie, that's what I'm talking about. Oh, I actually read the book too. This is Nicholas Sparks?
Yes.
Yeah. Boy, Nicholas Sparks, his book's on tape. Although I'm losing my man card as we speak here.
Maybe you're the one who had a real bounce in your step, Frank.
Yeah, exactly.
You've read the book, you've seen the movie, you're going to go to the Fox. I mean,
projecting it all on Jill.
Yeah.
I admit it. I like the Notebook. Did you ever see Will Ferrell? One time he was the he actually was the public address announcer for the Chicago Bulls, and he introduced the players, and he says, his favorite movie is The Notebook. At guard, number 12. Yes. I mean, it's something that all men make fun of each other about, but it's actually, how can you not like the movie?
Yeah, James Garner.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot to love there. Not to mention Ryan Gosling.
Yes.
Of note. What have you been doing the last 24 hours besides working like a crazed man, being quoted in some of the most esteemed publications in our region, like the St. Louis Daily Newsletter?
Yes. My goal has been accomplished. I made it there. So I will say this. I do have a little bit of a problem. Yesterday, Monique called me in between press conferences, and she said, can you explain to me why in our refrigerator we have a soda can, that poppy, that sparkling stuff, half filled, and there's lipstick on the can. And, keep in mind, she's been gone for 16 days. And I got to tell you something. I got no response. I have nothing. I have no idea. And I said, well, Brooke was over a lot. She goes, Brooke doesn't wear lipstick. And so I have no idea. And I said, what are you planning on doing? She goes, well, I'm going to protect my assets. I don't know what that means, but oh, my God, I got nothing.
No sisters were over and no other family?
Good thought. Laura came over. Yes, you may be saving me. I'm going to, this is good. And Laura does wear lipstick. There we go. I'll tell that to her and see if I'm off the hook.
That is very good. One benefit to the temperatures being in a whopping 91 degrees on the last day of September yesterday is we did sneak out. I went and picked up John from work, and we got in yet another sunset water ski in.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I have to say, it's just magical. It's really beautiful.
So, you went at what time?
We were up there on the water by 6 p.m. and we had exactly 45 minutes before the sunset. So I was keeping track of that. I didn't want to be out on the river very badly after the sunset, but
that temperature then was perfect. I was hitting balls at 6:40 till 7 o'clock before it got pitch dark.
Yeah, because it wasn't hot. Once the sun kind of started to go down, it was just perfect temperature, not a lot of humidity, beautiful, beautiful skies.
Yeah, that's one benefit. I mean, I know people don't want it 90 degrees right now, but boy, at 6 o'clock, it's just spectacular.
And
don't you wish it would stay lighter, longer?
Yes, of course. Yeah. But although, there's something to be kind of cozy. I never get the pronunciation right of the Danish word hygge, Hygge, which is that cozy winter kind of solstice feeling. There's something to be said for that time of year as well. It's just we kind of miss. This is the time of year we start to realize that as the sun's setting earlier and earlier, we have to kind of make that adjustment.
All right, let's take our first break. When we come back, the opening dialogue, Sarah Fensky at 10:35. This is the Frank and Jill Show on the Big 550 KTRS.
Recently, a good friend of mine was changing the light fixture in their kitchen, and they took the light fixture off the ceiling, and they looked inside the ceiling and said, "What is the phone number to Michael Baldy?" If they would have listened to me, they would have put Michael Baldy's phone number in their phone, because everybody needs a good electrician on speed dial. So here you go. The next time you need an electrician, you need to remember Michael Baldy and Baldy Electric. So the phone number, 314-968-9999. Indoor, outdoor, an old Victorian home, knob and tube wiring, and anything and everything in between. You see, Michael Baldy is a licensed electrician, and he has a team ready to go. Whether it's something for the ceiling in the kitchen, something for the lights for the holidays, whatever it may be, Michael Baldy and Baldy Electric. BaldyElectric.com, 314-968-9999, because everybody needs a good electrician on speed dial. BaldyElectric.com.
Did you know carrying debt into retirement can drain your savings and limit your freedom? It's time to take control. Start by paying off those high-interest debts and saving strategically. Don't navigate this alone. Professional guidance can make a real difference. Call me, Tim Schultz, at 314-619-1283, or visit us at PioneerWealthMGMT.com today to learn how you can retire and start creating your dream retirement.
Investment advisory services offered through Creative One Wealth, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Pioneer Wealth Management and Creative One Wealth are unaffiliated entities. Licensed insurance professional. Investing involves risk, including possible loss of principal. No investment strategy, such as asset allocation or diversification, can ensure a profit or guarantee against losses.
Health insurance can feel complicated, but Medica health plans are different. See, we're non-profit, which means people first, not shareholders. And we're right here in St. Louis with affordable plans for local care you trust. Your doctors, your hospitals, to help you feel your best. With Medica, your health coverage can feel a bit simpler. And now, we're here for you. Medica Health Plans. You're not just covered, you're cared for.
At Maryville University, we power dreams, not just degrees. For nearly 150 years, we've empowered graduates to build successful careers. At Maryville, expect a rigorous, technology-driven, mentor-inspired education in a diverse and inclusive learning environment. We help you take it to the next level, no matter what field you choose. Now is the time to turn your ambition into action and transform your dream into reality. Start your journey at maryville.edu.
Diana from Newstetter's Fine Jewelers here to remind you, we don't just offer the best pieces, we offer one of the last master hand engravers in our country. My father can create timeless, personal, and unforgettable pieces. Come by our showroom at the corner of Big Ben and Doherty Ferry, or learn more online at wowdiamonds.com.
Look at our alums, the contributions that they have made throughout industries in the St. Louis region.
Terry Freerks, a graduate of the University of Missouri, St. Louis.
UMSL is embedded in the fabric of the St. Louis community. We're hands-on, and when our students graduate, they are definitely career ready, but maybe more importantly, they're career confident.
More is what moves us. Find your more at more.umsl.edu.
It's the Big Sports Show with Sports Director Brendan Lisi. Weeknights 7 to 9 on the Talk of St. Louis, the Big 550, KTRS. And now the opening dialogue with Frank and Jill on the Big 550, KTRS.
Powered by Worldwide Technology Raceway.
All right, here we go. Thought one. In my most shallow thought of my undistinguished radio career, and there have been many entries, I've always been intrigued by the concept of the 3-day stubble growth look. I bring this up because of the press conference yesterday at Busch Stadium. In what has to be one of the 10 most important days in the career of Chaim Bloom, he didn't think it was a good idea to come in clean-shaven. He's 42. To his left was Bill DeWitt III. He had the 3-day stubble growth also. Jill, he's 57. In fact, I would challenge you to come up with a male who is regarded as really cool and chic, say between 25 and 60, who doesn't support that look or doesn't show that look. David Beckham, Bradley Cooper, Chris Hemsworth, George Clooney, you name it.
John Farmer.
John Farmer. Okay, there's another one. So to our female audience, is that the look that grabs your attention and turns your head? One of my favorite people in the world is Bill Curry, a Super Bowl winning NFL player, longtime college coach. He married his grade school sweetheart, Carolyn. I love him because he loves his wife to death. And when he retired, he told Carolyn, "You will never, ever do another dish for the rest of your life." Anyway, I don't know how we got on the topic, but he had that stubble growth going once. And Carolyn said, "You know, it looks good on young men. When you don't shave, you look homeless." And Monique has always thought Bill Curry was a really attractive man. He's 82 now and still looks great. So is it an age thing? It looks good on the younger guys, but it just doesn't work on the older guys. Thoughts, please, on this very pressing topic. 841-26 Royal Banks of Missouri text line.
Can I add a wrinkle,
Yes.
so to speak? Do you think it totally matters like if a guy's really looking sharp in a suit and everything else is together in that kind of shadow look, it adds this air of kind of sexy confidence to the look. And if he's in a holy T-shirt and cargo shorts at Home Depot on the weekends, it just looks like he slept in or had a little too much to drink.
That's the ensemble that he's wearing. Yeah, that's a good thought. Yeah. Guys in suits can pull it off, or just even chic clothing. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I know. I mean, because I would say there was a time when it was, it'd be the equivalent of a woman going out with wet hair. It just wasn't done in public, right? It was okay with friends and family, but if you were trying to present yourself well, you either had a beard or you were clean shaven. This middle stuff wasn't
yeah. I don't know
the look it is today.
I wonder who's credited with it, because
COVID is when it became a fashion statement in our house.
Okay, but I think it happened before that
Did it?
with the really cool national guys. So it's been going on for a while, but I wonder who gets the most credit for making it chic and hot.
Did your favorite guy who brought us, of course, the Pat Riley,
Riley?
the incredible
Never.
collar? He always is clean shaven.
Yeah. I mean, he grew a beard at one time, but he was always clean shaven.
And how old is he?
Pat's probably 75 now.
Okay, so that meets your age criterion of where it's like between 40 and 60.
Pat Riley's 80.
80, wow.
Wow, really good.
Looks like $1 million.
Okay, so no surprise to regular listeners of the show that I was extremely excited with the news that we are getting another European flight. Again, as I've said before, it's not because I go to Europe very often, because indeed I do not go to Europe very often. But when I did fly to Europe on a trip to Paris for my daughter's graduation from college a few years ago, we were on that first Lufthansa flight. And with all the dignitaries and everybody at the airport with the balloons, I learned from some of St. Louis's top business leaders and folks who are in the business of attracting business to St. Louis that we had been hurting since we lost our last international flight. Since that last international flight had gone away, as American Airlines after TWA left and American Airlines then got rid of that international flight, it was hurting us on the business front. And that's really what a lot of the reporting today in local newspapers, the Business Journal and St. Louis Post-Dispatch is focusing on, including this from an associate professor of international business at St. Louis University. The signals are back that we can finally come back in as a serious global center. We had been missing that for a while. Other professors from WashU saying that as well. Especially helpful to medium-sized businesses with annual revenues of 10 to 100 million. We have been hurting in being able to link up to some of the important markets internationally because of not having that flight. So it's nice for travelers. It's nice for people. I know we have a huge Bosnian population in St. Louis. They've loved being able to go back and visit family and having the direct flight. So I'm not saying there isn't a personal benefit, but I think a lot of us in St. Louis underestimated the impact it had on our business community. Expected to add 50 to 100 million for our regional economy. This is a British Airways flight that we're going to have now from St. Louis to London, and I just think it's very good news.
And is the airport expansion or trying to upgrade it, is that still in the works?
It still is in the works. We got some federal funding cut, but I think they're working to still move it forward. And, you know, I'm like a lot of people. I can be sort of myopic, if you will, or think about my silo and be like, yeah, the airport's good enough for me. We travel all the time for business and work. But I think if, as a region, we have to think bigger and we have to think about us like big business looks at us sometimes. And having an airport that looks like it's dying out and has fewer and fewer destinations is not good for our region. So I'm very happy to hear this news from yesterday.
That's awesome. All right, thought two. One of the most elegant female athletes I've ever had a chance to cover is Nafisa Collier. She's the All-American from Incarnate Word Academy who became an All-American at UConn and is one of the 2 or 3 best female basketball players in the world. She's so sweet. She's the wife of a St. Louisan, Alex Bizzell. They have a precious baby girl. Alex runs a league also. There's not a mean bone in her body. And that's why her comments about the WNBA commissioner, Kathy Engelbert, are so stunning. It was like a nuclear bomb. She hit on everything. Connor, let's play a little bit.
In the world. If I didn't know exactly what the job entailed, maybe I wouldn't feel this way. But unfortunately for them, I do.
So she brought up how Caitlin Clark is not paid much. I think her average contract on this rookie contract is $84,000. And Collier says to Engelbert that, you know, this is not right. She should be paid more. And then Engelbert's response is, Caitlin should be grateful. She makes $16 million off the court because without the platform that the WNBA gives her, she would make anything. Clark was already raking in millions with the Nike deal she secured in college. And Engelbert disputed Collier's version of the events. The most scathing line, though, is we have the worst leadership in the world. It's crazy because Nafisa is wonderful and so sweet. She decided to unload.
Okay, so did you see Sophie Cunningham weighing in on this conversation today as well from The Fever? She said people only know of Kathy, meaning the commissioner, because of Caitlin. Kathy is the most delusional leader our league has ever seen. So she comes in even hotter on the lining up against the leadership. And, you know, sometimes it's okay to speak truth to power. So we'll see how this all shakes out for sure. We'll have a good list here on the Frank and Jill Show, particularly of lists of people who are doing great things and businesses doing great things in our region. The Fast 50 from St. Louis Business Journal has just come out. The fastest growing St. Louis companies. Are you guys ready for the list? A. Eilers Construction, St. Peter's construction firm, rocketed to the top of the list. A lot of the others on the list are tech companies you may not have heard of, but maybe you want to write them down to say, I heard of them when. Integrity XD, a web consulting firm, is number 2 on the list. U.S. Cloud, Microsoft Enterprise Support Alternative is there as well. This is a fun one. Dining RD, list number 4. Nutrition software and dietitian consulting for senior living. And then AEG, which is an engineering and IT staff firm for
Have you heard of any of these?
I had not heard of any of these, but when we get to the top, the list of 10, I won't read all of them, but I love number 8, Exit 11 Coffee, Angela Garland, founder and CEO. It's a drive-through coffee shop. We have not had as many of the drive-throughs as some other cities around the country.
It's in St. Louis as we speak.
In
What's the
St.
name of it
Louis
again?
as we speak. It's called Exit 11 Coffee, founded in Washington, Missouri. Revenue growth of 81% in the last year. So they're doing
now,
well.
Is this the one by Costco on Olive Street Road in
I don't know.
Olivet?
We'll have to do.
Okay.
It doesn't give the locations on the list here. A couple of other builders and one commercial landscaping company getting out there and making our businesses look nice from the outside in. Focal Point of St. Louis also reporting 123% revenue growth. So we've got some companies that are some of our fastest growing companies are one that aren't necessarily the names that roll off the tongue, what we've heard of them. But the good news is we're providing an incubator. We're going to talk about entrepreneurship a little later in the show.
All right. By the way, 2 great texts on the stubble look. Kurt Warner was the one who started it. the unshaved look. Yeah, Kurt always had that. That's good locally. And then nationally, somebody suggesting the great Don Johnson from Miami Vice. All right, thought 3, Stream of Con. Congrats to John Rooney and Joe Buck. They've made the list for the finalist for the Ford C. Frick Award. It's the highest honor a baseball broadcaster can achieve. Cool. It's the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. Both are so deserving. It'd be great to see one of them get that honor in December. The donut. I've mentioned this before. I'm wondering if it's a push because we know they're fattening. But if you have just one donut, it just fills you up so much, or it fills me up so much that I don't have to eat lunch or dinner because it's just so filling. So if you're only having one donut, even though it's fattening, are you actually consuming less calories?
You probably are, but it does have that. It's that high glycemic index, so it's going to send your blood sugar probably
if you
in
have
the
a
wrong
donut in the
direction.
morning, Frank, you don't eat dinner?
No,
lunch is fine.
Like if I had one yesterday after the press conference, so I didn't have to eat lunch. I had one donut at 12 o'clock. Oh my God.
Yeah, that does not work for me. I eat a donut, and then like 40 minutes later, I'm starving.
Really?
Yes, it does something to my blood sugar. I'm a wimp, and you're not. Something like that.
And finally, Albert Pujols. Don't do it, Albert. He apparently is a finalist to become the manager of the Angels. They haven't had a winning season since 2015. They haven't made the playoffs since 2014. They are terrible, always have been. I think they always will be. I don't know why you'd want to do it, but God bless you if you do.
We talked about it earlier. It's kind of like that restaurant that's never made it, the location that should but never has made it, and then one restaurant after another comes in, and we're going to be the one that does it, and it doesn't.
Well, they have won a World Series, to be fair.
Yes.
So
and so they're due.
Been a long time.
No,
it was about 23 years ago, but you know.
Okay, when I was with some family over the weekend, we were talking about my beloved Grandpa Smith and reminiscing about the fact that he ate Wheaties every single day of his life. He was a man who loved his routines, and eating Wheaties was one of the routines he absolutely loved. It got me thinking, any of you guys, we've already talked about donuts, but are any of you still eating cereal for breakfast? I don't. I ate cereal every day of my life until I think I turned somewhere in my early 40s. I stopped. It's been, like I said, at least 15, maybe even 20 years. I dug into the numbers, and they suggest that I'm not alone. U.S. cold cereal sales have been sliding for decades. Analysts say we're eating differently. Mornings are busier. People want that grab-and-go smoothie, the yogurt, the avocado toast, the breakfast bar that fits better with the rush routines. I do drink, as you guys can attest, I drink my protein shake every morning now instead of eating cereal. But I just was very curious what your thoughts were, and I looked into the history of cereal as well. It goes back to the late 19th century. Going back to first, it was Kellogg, and then there was CW Post. But I mean, growing up, Frank, did you eat cereal every single day for breakfast?
I did consume a lot of Captain Crunch, but certainly not every day.
I did not get to eat Captain Crunch. Ours was just boring. We ate Cheerios, maybe Kix, shredded wheat. Now, did we put teaspoons of sugar on top of the non-sugar cereals? Yes.
I never understood that topping.
I know.
The sugar.
Well, it made it taste a lot better since our mom would not let us have any of the good stuff unless we were on vacation or at Grandma's house, where we got the really good little boxes of the flavored cereal, which was like the hugest treat ever. My kids did not get sugar cereal, but I fed them cereal most mornings, and both of them say now they never eat it for breakfast, but they occasionally will have like some granola or a bowl of cereal for a treat in the evening.
Okay. Two things on Wheaties. I think one of you could probably get this. What person has been on the cover, what athlete has been on the cover of the Wheaties box the most times?
Bruce Jenner?
It's a good guess. Connor?
Michael Jordan?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, and Tiger's second. And what woman?
Chris Everett.
That's a good one, too. But you're in that era. You got to go back in time a little bit.
Jackie Joyner-Kersee?
Well, that's a good one, too. I can still see her box.
Yeah.
Was I in the right sport?
No, but kind of the right era. Think gymnastics.
Oh, so not Dorothy Hamill.
You got the same hairstyle. That's good. You're close.
I can see her right now. Mary Lou Retton.
Very good. She's the most. Yeah. And then you brought up Smoothie King, by the way. You didn't bring up Smoothie King. You brought up avocado toast. Have you seen that billboard? I'm wondering if anybody in our audience, or if the two of you have done this, because every time I drive by this billboard, I say, I got to try that. Because you can get a Smoothie King like breakfast drink and an avocado toast at a pretty reasonable price. And Have you ever had bad avocado toast? I mean, I don't think I have. But it seems like relatively healthy. It's a good price. I'd like to try it out.
I love avocado toast. I have not tried that out. I would love to hear from you guys on the Royal Banks of Missouri text line. Answer Frank's question. Are you too filled, and can you confirm that his idea of using a donut as a meal replacement is a good move?
No, it's definitely not.
On that. And are any of you guys still eating cereal every day? And if so, what kind of cereal are you eating every day, or did you quit along the line as well? We'd love to hear from you. A lot more coming up in the show. First, our friends from Altair Travel and Cruises reminding us that Christmas time is a great time to travel. If you got St. Louis summer got by you like it did for us, too many other things going on, life was being lifey, as I like to say, and just did not get some of those trips. And so as a family, we're already thinking ahead to next year, maybe next summer, early fall, wanting to go someplace to do something really special together. I'll have 2 son-in-laws by then. And so it's just one of those things I think about. How do we start creating family memories together as the new unit of our family with 2 daughters and 2 sons-in-law? And I'm going to use my friends at Altair Travel and Cruises to help us dream and scheme about making that next trip possible. If you're a solo traveler, but you have an interest in learning, there are so many incredible tours around the world and around our country that you may not have thought about. History tours, all kinds of tours for special interests that you have. They have their finger on the pulse of all those things and can connect you to them. And you can know and trust all of the people, all of the tour companies, all of the resorts, all of the places that Altair Travel and Cruises has connections with. It's because they trust them and they know they're going to give you an incredible vacation experience. 314-968-9600. Call Altair Travel today or visit them online, altairtravel.com.
And now, KTRS weather from the John Beal Roofing Weather Desk.
Welcome to October, my friends. New month, but not much change in the local weather pattern. Dry and warm. What else is new, right? Although there is a change in the sky today. Some mid and upper level cloud cover drifting through. Partly sunny overall, but up to 87 this afternoon. 75 would be normal. We'll back it down into the 70s after the sun goes down this evening, and then to 64 for the overnight low. Back to mostly sunny on Thursday. Boy, another hot day tomorrow at about 88. And honestly, I see very little change in this pattern all the way through at least the weekend. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers on the Big 550 KTRS.
John Beal Roofing is the home of the lowest price roofing guarantee. Get a free estimate today at johnbealroofing.com.
So here's the deal. If you're driving around and you've got some dings and dents and you start to notice them now a little bit more because the sun is out and you're driving, wait a minute, hold on, I didn't see that before. Guess what? You need to get to Dents Express. They've got 2 locations on Manchester, in Baldwin, and in St. Charles. Whether it's dent removal, hail damage, minor collision, they'll work with your insurance company, handle all the paperwork, and then when it's ready, they'll come call you and you can come pick up the car for 30 plus years. Dents Express, STL.com.
Hi, it's Frank Cusimano inviting you to join me for the Press Box, brought to you by Control Option, Monday through Thursday at 6 p.m. We're going to interview some of the biggest names in sports and have our opening monologue. That's the Press Box, brought to you by Control Option, Monday through Thursday at 6 p.m. right here on the Big 550 KTRS, the talk of St. Louis.
All right, fall and winter is upon us, and so now you got to close the window to keep the heat in, and that window is a sieve. It doesn't work, it doesn't lock, it rattles around in the wind. That means it's time to talk to my friend and neighbor, Larry Thornton, the owner of the window store. He has been a proud owner of that store for 37 years. His son, Joe, and Larry work together to bring you the best in price, selection, and customer service. That's right. They go up against the big boys, and they beat them every single time because they're better price, better selection, customer service is fantastic. They don't stand in the middle of your living room and demand that you buy. They do most of their work with a handshake and a smile. They love to talk to you, and they love to sell you a window or a door. Better pricing, better company, the Window Store. 314-739-0002 or WSWindow.net. Let's talk about high school for just a moment, because that young man you brought home from the hospital yesterday, you're going to blink your eyes, and all of a sudden now you start talking about high schools. Well, that's where St. Mary's Southside Catholic High School comes in, because it's an all-boys, independent Catholic high school. And what St. Mary's will do is they will prepare your son to be the future. Whether it's college, trade work, or a career of their choice, St. Mary's over the years has produced a whole lot of millionaires and a couple of billionaires along the way. And when you graduate from St. Mary's, you have that alumni as a resource. Schedule your visit today and find out more about St. Mary's. stmaryshs.com. That's stmaryshs.com. They will teach the skills that are needed to thrive and survive in the 21st century, as well as teaching old school values. To find out more, stmaryshs.com. That's stmaryshs.com.
Welcome back, everybody. Frank and Jill Show. Jill Farmer, Frank Cusimano, Connor McCarthy here as well. Royal Banks of Missouri text line. We're hearing from lots of you about your morning eating habits. 84126. We absolutely love us. Check us out on YouTube and Facebook. I swear when I'm not on this frame picture like I'm on YouTube, I don't look like I'm trying to dress for Halloween like I'm a Catholic priest. But if you do tune in, that is a little bit what I look like today. So check that out for yourselves. Sarah Fensky joining us live. It's Tuesday morning, as always. Very good to have you, Sarah. First breaking news question of the day. Do you ever eat cereal for breakfast anymore?
Oh, yeah, I do most days.
You still do. Okay.
Weird?
No, well, yes, according to the national data, and fewer people are doing that. What kind do you eat?
Oh, I'm all over the place. Like, my kids are big cereal eaters, so sometimes I get stuck with, like, Lucky Charms, but I try to buy the adult cereals and do something a little healthier. Like, I like those, what are those called, like Quaker Oat Squares?
Oh, yeah.
Put berries in there. I sit down and eat breakfast every morning.
Well, that Captain Crunch is still really strong if you don't care about your health.
Yeah, I mean,
it's one of the
hard.
best.
I honestly don't care about my health, so I will often just have, like, marshmallows.
Oh, my gosh. Well, yeah, I got into a little trouble in college with Captain Crunch, the machine, and that it wasn't just the freshman 15 for me. It was the soft serve ice cream and the Captain Crunch did not serve me well. But on to more serious topics, and that includes the fact that Frank Cusimano said he has reached a milestone in his career he's been waiting for, his 30-plus years of broadcasting. He was actually quoted in the St. Louis Today newsletter today for his incredibly pithy writing and reporting yesterday, a line he actually used first right here on the Frank and Jill Show. So that was fun for you guys to have that breaking news to be able to cover Frank today, wasn't it, Sarah?
So Frank is reusing his good quips. I thought we had an exclusive here when Ryan said he ran into him on the street.
Yeah, I did not authorize that quote. You'll hear from my attorney later on today, okay?
Well, unless you say it's off the record, Ryan considers it fair game.
And it was great meeting him. He does such a good job for you, so it was nice meeting him in person.
He said the same about you. So.
All right. Let's talk about the golf cart use soaring in our city and our neighborhoods. A lot of controversy surrounding it. What's your overall take on the saga?
I really love golf carts. To me, this is such a social, fun way to get around. You can get to the opposite side of your neighborhood if you're in a neighborhood like Jill, and it's a very walkable neighborhood, that it's easy to just zip from one end to the other. It's a lot faster than walking. What I thought was interesting about this, I think we city dwellers, we think this as like, oh, Soulard, Lafayette Square, the Hill, everybody's got a golf cart. This is equally popular, like in the deep and distant suburbs. It's kind of where like St. Charles County meets the city, is everybody's in these communities where they like having their golf cart. And it's maybe the suburbs that are sort of in the middle of those seem to be the only places you're not seeing them. I think America's kind of dying for a mode of transportation where you're not sealed up in a giant SUV when you're only going a mile.
Yeah, it's really cool. You guys did a great job in the St. Louis Daily newsletter just talking about kind of the popularity of it and how it seems so strange that they were just not a thing. I mean, even before COVID, it wasn't something that we saw a lot. I had seen in the story in the New York Times that was just absolutely really glowing about Powell Symphony Hall and the great news there. I know you had a great experience at Powell Symphony Hall over the weekend as well. For listeners who haven't been able to be there yet, what do you think about this remodel that makes it so special enough that we're getting national coverage on it?
Oh, it is so cool. I was just blown away by this. Like, they preserved the part of Powell Hall that we all love. Like, it still feels kind of fabulously ornate, and there's like red velvet banisters that your hand is getting to touch as you walk up the stairs. And it kind of has that cool wedding cake Versailles feeling when you're in the concert hall. But while they've preserved that so beautifully, they've opened up the whole thing. So now there's this giant lobby where you're not just kind of crushed in there waiting for the show. There's more bars. There's more bathrooms. The bathrooms are incredibly modern. And they've also taken away some of the seats that were previously in Powell Hall. So you can actually get a little bit of leg room. We were in row B for this sort of reopening concert, and we realized, hey, row B is now the first row. Like, they just got rid of row A, and that's actually a really nice thing. They've opened up some of like the side areas, so it doesn't feel quite as tight. It preserves the old, but it brings in some really nice modern touches.
Well, I wonder how many cities in America have two facilities like Powell Hall and the Fox, like right across the street from each other, filled with so much history and just so spectacular.
Yeah, I kind of had this amazing weekend because I was at Powell Hall on Saturday for the opening, and then I was at the Fox on Sunday to see Louis C.K., who's back. And I was like, this is so cool. Like, these venues are both incredible in totally different ways. The Fox is just this fever dream. It's, it's wonderful that those things were preserved. It's hard to imagine that St. Louis would be what it is today if somebody had just taken those down with a wrecking ball at the point when people weren't so into, that kind of old school vibe. It's just that they're so unique, so unusual, and just any chance you get to spend a time at either, I think people should take it.
As I mentioned, I had seen the New York Times featuring Powell Hall. I missed, however, a story that, thanks to you, I did take the time to read in the Wall Street Journal, featuring St. Louis and what's happening with tornado recovery and how we're somewhat of a litmus test or a bellwether for a reconfigured, if you will, FEMA and what the impact is here. Was there anything about that Wall Street Journal reporting and our situation in St. Louis and tornado recovery that surprised you or stuck out to you?
I just thought it was very helpful because being in St. Louis, you look at maybe, this is taking longer than it should to recover from this tornado. And you are tempted to blame St. Louis. And you're like, why can we never get our act together? You read this story, and it's so clear that things have completely fallen apart at this federal agency, and that the city is just the unlucky recipient of this sort of failed federal government that is happening, and how Trump wants to shift these responsibilities back to the states, but the states aren't ready. I've spent a lot of time covering state government. I don't think the state got much of a warning at all that it was supposed to be ready for this handoff. And unlike the federal government, states can't just write checks when they don't have money in the bank. They have to balance their budget every year. And so the feds have this incredibly bloated budget, and at the same time are saying, we're just not going to handle this. This is your problem. And, you also read in this Wall Street Journal story about some of the backlogs. The director wants people to sign off on any purchase of more than $100,000. That is crippling emergency response. So it helps everything that we knew was happening on the ground in St. Louis make a lot more sense in this national context. And I think, it should make St. Louis feel better about how we've still managed to somewhat deal with some of the carnage that was wreaked. But it's just a really cautionary tale about how things have fallen apart in this country on a bigger level.
So what about the scam artist from St. Charles and the Missouri DMV story? Give us the Cliff Notes version, please.
So this guy, Ryan Kroll, and I got interested in him after hearing he'd been charged with, he was basically bribing people who worked at the DMV in order to get much cheaper car registrations for his clients. So people would pay him like $1,000. He would Venmo, I love that detail, Venmo like $100 to some hapless DMV worker, and they would allow him to just register this like it was a commercial vehicle. So the person who has the car gets to pay a lot less. This guy gets to pocket a whole bunch of money. The little DMV worker gets $100 for their pains. It's like everybody wins except the taxpayer. And so federal prosecutors have now prosecuted this guy. He pled guilty. Yesterday, he was sentenced to 5 years in prison, which should put any other would-be scammers on notice. I guess don't Venmo the people you're bribing.
Who knew? Could we have shortened the lines at the DMV all those years that we've all suffered and struggled? All we had to do was figure out everybody's Venmo and just kind of move things along. The rest of us just aren't. Although, now he's paying the piper.
That's the wrong takeaway.
I know.
That
Sorry.
I don't think we want people to do 5 years in prison.
No, we don't. That's right. He is paying the piper. It was a terrible thing to do, and he never should have done it. I loved this story you guys broke yesterday. Other outlets are picking it up today, but I believe it was St. Louis Magazine Steve Leftridge first reporting that spotted at Broadway Oyster Bar, Chili and T-Boz of TLC. Of course, they were in town. The incredible group was in town for the Evolution Festival. They happened to be walking by Broadway Oyster Bar, and a local singer, Tish Period, happened to be singing Waterfalls when the pair was passing by, their biggest hit, and they popped in to enjoy the cover. Do I have that story right?
You do. Kind of amazing. Can you imagine being singer Tish Period? You're there doing a cover of a TLC song. Two of the members of TLC walking by, pop in and watch you finish. And apparently, according to people who were there, they smiled. They liked this cover. They appreciated what this local singer was doing. And they were just there for the Broadway Oyster Bar party, kind of unwittingly. Like they had not planned to come there. Nobody said, sing this TLC song and they'll come in. Like it was just serendipity. That is so unbelievable. We had the story last night on television. It would be like if two kids or a bunch of kids were playing backyard baseball and they all had Albert Pujols jerseys on, and all of a sudden Albert drives by and says, "Hey, how you doing?" I mean, that is just so unbelievable. That is great. Or even, Albert's there going, "Man, you guys are good at baseball." Like, it's almost like, a compliment from the person that you want to be.
Well, I hope Frank doesn't retire now that he has officially made it, because he knows he has been his
no goals left.
No goals left. He's now has been featured in the St. Louis Magazine daily newsletter. Highly recommend you guys go to St. Louis Magazine's website, get the free morning newsletter. Always such great tidbits, juicy headlines, stories behind the headlines. Sarah Fensky, is always great having you on the show.
Thank you so much.
Miller Furniture, big sale. You guys make your plans now to go visit one of the 4 incredible locations: Fairview Heights, Lake St. Louis at the Meadows, Ellisville, or the flagship store in Belleville, Illinois. Up to 75% off on all kinds of outdoor furniture. Listen, it's still 90 degrees. We haven't even gotten to that beautiful 70s fall weather. That hopefully will go well into November this year. Still a lot of time to enjoy that outdoor furniture. It's on my next list. We have some replacing of that outdoor furniture to do. Have guests come and sat down in chairs and then fallen because the chairs are falling apart on our deck. Yes, that is an actual scenario that's happened at the Farmer household. It's time for me to go do some shopping and take advantage of this incredible sale that's happening at Miller Furniture. If you need stuff on the inside, whether you want that really, really high end, it's your back's tired of it, you want the highest end, best mattress that's out there, free adjustable base when you buy a Chatham & Wells, up to half off some Stearns & Foster as well. Half off all kinds of their furniture, including some of the made-to-order furniture that you can get, the Amish furniture as well. It's just a great sale, a great time for you to take advantage. Do a little pre-shopping at millerfurniture.com. That's MUELLER furniture.com. Or better yet, make plans to visit one of their 4 locations today.
This is Mariah, 3rd generation at Newsteaders Fine Jewelry. Buying an engagement ring can be intimidating. At Newsteaders, we ensure complete understanding of your purchase. We offer a choice in both lab and mine-grown diamonds and are able to work with any budget. Let our family help educate you on your choice at Big Ben and Doherty Ferry or at wowdiamonds.com.
At Midland, we know sometimes all it takes is a moment for an idea to spark, or to make it happen, a moment to find your dream, or build one, a moment to start your forever, or at least start planning for it. Whatever moments you have, Midland is here for them and can help you make them. Midland, brighter together. Visit us at midlandsb.com. Midland States Bank is member FDIC.
Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Alliance is rebranding to Reese Nichols, a Missouri-born real estate company established 125 years ago. The same trusted agents who've served St. Louis for 45 years now have the backing of Missouri's most trusted brokerage. With offices across the metro and in-house mortgage, title, and insurance, Reese Nichols makes your move seamless. They proudly support the Ronald McDonald House, raising over $1.5 million for Missouri families. Visit reesenichols.com to learn more.
Do you have the option to control your cash flow and wealth? Are you getting a return on your greatest asset, your lifetime and potential generational income? Overcome these critical financial planning challenges by discovering the Control Option Mindset featuring the Lifetime and Generational Income Maximizer. Call Mark Benson and his team at the Control Option at 314-432-9540 or online at thecontroloptionmindset.com.
How do you separate estate planning from elder law? You don't, because they're so intertwined. Let's face it, we're all getting older, and you need to make these decisions today, whether it's for your parents, for yourself, or for future generations. Rudy Beck, Jay Lennox, and Carolyn Stolzer have been navigating these important decisions for more than 50 years. Beck, Lennox, Stolzer, Estate Planning, and Elder Law. Call them, 636-946-7899 or beckelderlaw.com. You can thank me later.
Missouri Show Me 5 hospitals are leading the way in becoming baby-friendly. Hospital practices play a huge role in supporting families with infant feeding choices and breastfeeding success. Show Me 5 hospitals are committed to creating a welcoming, supportive environment for moms and babies. Want to find a Show Me 5 certified hospital near you? Learn more about what makes a hospital baby-friendly and see a list of participating hospitals at health.mo.gov/Show Me 5.
Looking for a great local restaurant recommendation?
Missy Mall.
Tune in to the Kuno Food Service weekly special during the Frank and Jill Show, Thursdays at 11.
Hear from the best of the best restaurant owners in town.
Only on the Frank and Jill Show, Thursdays at 11. Presented by Kuno Food Service, right here on the Big 550 KTRS, the talk of St. Louis. Carney, Buck.
Well, you can always tell when Max has a hand on the guests. Somebody coming on who's an expert in coffee.
We will be caffeinated on the next show, also with a couple of Johnnies joining the program.
Also, we'll be joined by Rebecca Lafferty, whose life story has been told in a movie. It's that crazy.
We'll see you here right at noon.
John Carney, Julie Buck, weekdays at noon on KTRS. The talk of St. Louis.
Progressive Insurance. Progressive can protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, RV, and more. In short, a lot of things. Bundle today at progressive.com.
The Bommarito Automotive Group is Missouri's #1 automotive group. They've sold over 1 million vehicles by giving you a better price, a better selection, and more for your trade. You can shop them online, see their entire inventory online at bommarito.com.
All right, welcome back. Frank and Jill Show. Poppy Soda Gate continues. Just texted Laura, is there any chance that you may have left a half-used can of Poppy Soda in our refrigerator while you went to let Reggie out with some lipstick on it? She said, no, there's no way I did. So I told her to not talk to Monique about this, and we'll continue.
So now you're going to cover it up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That'll go well.
Yeah.
Not that you asked me to defend you, but I did say I think you'd be pretty bad at covering your tracks if you were ever to try to do something nefarious. It's probably not your strong point. You got too many irons in the fire.
And she's very good at tracking things down, so I'd be cooked.
Keeping track of details is a strong point. Good to know. But some of you got some real supporters here trying to really help you out with how to prove yourself innocent. Nobody is assuming that you were guilty, so I think that's a good thing. We talked about sunset early. Somebody said last night they looked outside at 7:43. It was already dark, and they're waiting for April. They like those longer days. Quite a few of you weighing in. It depends on the guy whether we can do that shadow, the what do you call it, 3-day shadow or what do you
stub?
Looks like whether he looks like a homeless man or a sharp guy, and whether he can get away with it for sure.
And by the way, the man who is credited with that first one would be Don Johnson, who my friend Bobby Frisch texted in George Clooney, but Don Johnson obviously a little bit before him, so he gets credit for it. And also, Don Johnson had to have set a record. He's had he had 2 marriages annulled. I mean, I can imagine one. One was like 2 months, and the other one was like 3 days. And he's dated everybody from Barbra Streisand and married to. He dated Nicolette Sheridan, Tanya Tucker, and he married Melanie Griffin.
Didn't he marry her twice?
Let's see.
Isn't that,
So we
isn't that
don't,
something that
not
happened?
that he asked us to analyze his personality, but can we say he might be an impulsive guy if he got married twice for less than a week?
Yep, he was married to Melanie Griffin for 1 year, and then he tried it again 12 years later and was married again. Oh, and then that one lasted 7.
Okay.
And to his credit, he has been married to his present wife since 1999.
Okay, well, that's a long time. That's going on 26 years for sure. Based on your opening dialogue comments, Frank, about Nafisa Collier, her comments were fire. I love that woman. She sees a wrong. She dives right in and does not stop. So she's got some real fans besides you and I in the room as well. Cereal, my goodness, a lot of you guys have weighed in. A lot of you, Honey Bunches of Oats seems to be a popular one. One woman says, my son is 30, still eating Cinnamon Toast Crunch every single day. Somebody pointing out to your point, have you ever seen a bad avocado toast? Have you ever seen a bad Smoothie King? They said, you got to love it. Somebody said, yeah, I do eat cereal. Superfan Aaron, we love you every day, but it's more like grape nuts and low sugar granola, looking for the healthier alternative. And then somebody else pointing out they stopped eating cereal when they stopped putting the prize at the bottom of the box.
Oh.
Do you remember that, Connor?
Yeah.
Was that a thing during your era?
I don't really remember having the prizes.
Oh, my gosh, yes. A lot of grubby hands in the 70s and early 80s had our hands stuck down into the cereal, probably going back even to the 50s and 60s. We were all looking for that incredible treat. We, in a moment of weakness, would talk our mom into buying cereal we normally wouldn't get just for that incredibly underrated prize that was in there. Lots more coming up on the show. You're going to want to hear what is happening to support people who have great ideas, young entrepreneurs in our city. Plus, we've got Song of the Day. It's a fun one. Don't go away. Lots coming up after the news.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy. In 2011, I founded Wesley Financial Group with one goal in mind, to help honest folks out of their timeshares permanently. Today, I run Wesley with my 2 sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we'd want our own family treated. That philosophy has helped us grow into the largest, most trusted timeshare cancellation company in the United States. Fortune magazine even recognized us as one of the best places to work. Why? Because we genuinely care. In fact, some of our former clients were so moved by their experience working with us, they joined our team so they could help others to timeshare freedom. If you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-549-8866. 800-549-8866. 800-549-8866.
Hey, it's Heidi, and I've only sold 2 houses, but I know how stressful it can be. I also know the team at Lauren Risley Realty makes the entire process as easy as possible. I watched Lauren work with friends and my parents, and I can say she is top-notch. She doesn't just know the market, she knows what to look for in a home, and that includes red flags. And through all of it, she is calm, cool, and kind. So if you're in the market to buy or sell a home, or if you just have a question, call Lauren Risley Realty, 314-775-0684, or go to LaurenRisleyRealty.com.
The Senate convening again this hour on another round of voting after the federal government shut down at midnight. It's the first in 7 years, but the dueling Democratic and Republican measures aren't expected to pass again. Divisions remain along party lines over health care benefits, including Medicaid cuts and extending Affordable Care Act subsidies.
Democrats, like Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, say the shutdown's about health care.
Democrats are united in our resolve to make sure that we cancel the cuts, lower the costs, and save health care.
He was on ABC's Good Morning America, where Speaker of the House Mike Johnson said that Medicaid is for certain populations of American citizens, like young pregnant women and the disabled.
Those resources are being drained from those folks, and so we fixed that. We reduced fraud, waste, and abuse.
Vice President Vance said Republicans would negotiate when the government reopens. Brian Clark, ABC News.
Another sign of a hiring slowdown. Payroll processor ADP showing the economy lost 32 42,000 jobs last month. That's opposite of what analysts projected for private sector payrolls to add 48,000 jobs in September. The government monthly jobs report is due out tomorrow, but could be delayed due to the shutdown. In Germany, authorities are investigating a deadly explosion and bomb threat near the famous Oktoberfest fairgrounds. That temporarily shut down the festival. ABC's Lama Hassan has more.
There is also a large emergency operation underway right now in northern Munich after an explosion at a house. One person has been found dead. Police finding other explosive devices in the home. Special forces have also been called in to defuse them. It is being treated as a domestic dispute, but authorities believe that these two incidents may be connected.
Munich officials say the festival has reopened again this past hour. Hamas officials still reviewing the U.S. proposal on a Gaza ceasefire deal. President Trump signaled yesterday there should be a decision within days on the truce and release of hostages. You're listening to ABC News.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-859-3220. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 to 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-859-3220. That's 800-859-3220 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-859-3220. 800-859-3220.
This is KTRS News. I'm Sobe Bay. First responders are back at January Wabash Park in Ferguson this morning to retrieve a body found in a lake. Police say the discovery was made last night. First responders attempted to pull the body from the lake overnight, but efforts were unsuccessful. Congresswoman Ann Wagner is slamming Democrats for the government shutdown. The Republican lawmaker from Missouri released a statement which reads in part, "A government shutdown is a complete waste of taxpayer dollars. It is bad governance, and it hurts our economy and workers. Yet Democrats just voted to block a clean government funding bill because they want to spend $1.5 trillion more of your money. This is a shocking dereliction of duty by the Democrats, who supported 13 clean temporary funding bills under the previous administration." Illinois House Republicans are speaking out about violence against ICE agents. Lawmakers held a press conference yesterday to voice their concerns. House Minority Leader Tony McCombie said from escalating confrontations with ICE agents to rising tensions with local law enforcement, the incidents are mounting.
We've seen these tensions rise here at home, driven at times by our very own governor, who just yesterday called agents jackbooted thugs. Let me repeat that. Our governor called law enforcement jackbooted thugs. He went further, urging Illinoisans to fight with everything we have and to ask for badge numbers and record everything. And to what end? These remarks have only deepened tensions between federal agents who are doing their jobs and their local communities.
Meanwhile, Representative C.D. Davidsmeyer is sponsoring a bill which seeks to tamp down tensions in these situations and to allow law enforcement the space that they need to operate and protect both the bystanders and the officers themselves. A popular Metro East destination for tourists is part of this week's Illinois Grain Tour. More from KTRS's Steve Potter.
The Melvin Price Lock and Dam at Alton, which features one of the largest locks on the Mississippi River, and that also has a state-of-the-art museum that tells the history of life on the river, is part of a tour this week hosted by the Illinois Department of Agriculture. International buyers from 6 Middle Eastern and Asian countries are taking part in this year's Illinois Grain Tour, which runs through Thursday. Department Director Jerry Costello says the focus is to develop relationships that will lead to an increase in export sales of Illinois agricultural products.
Telling them the state of Illinois is open for business. We want to do business with them. Obviously, we can't control trade policy from a federal level, but we can try to do whatever we can.
The foreign buyers will also visit a number of farms and other businesses. Steve Potter, KTRS News.
A Forest Park fan favorite is in this KTRS Business Minute, brought to you by Walter Knoll Florists, the place for all your floral needs. Place your order anytime at WKF.com. The Boathouse in Forest Park is closed and won't reopen for 2 years. On Monday, the popular restaurant closed to undergo renovations, which include more green space and a roofed pavilion. The Boathouse is planning to reopen in 2027. And now let's take a look at the markets, brought to you by JBL Financial. Tune in to Straight Talk on Retirement, Saturday mornings from 9 to 11 a.m. On Wall Street, what a difference an hour makes. At 10 o'clock, all three leading indicators were down. Now they're up. Dow Jones up 71 points to 46,469. S&P 500 up 7 points to 6,695. The Nasdaq up 36 points to 22,695. KTRS Sports, the Blues fall to the Stars in exhibition play at Enterprise Center, 5-3. The Note is still winless in 4 tries so far this preseason. And one of the first orders of business for new Cardinals president of baseball operations, Chaim Bloom, was to announce the return of manager Oli Marmol for the 2026 season. Marmol will be entering his 5th year as the Bird skipper. It's also the final year of his current contract. KTRS weather, today cloudy, high of 82. Tonight clear with an overnight low of 62. And tomorrow sunny, high of 85. Right now we have 77 degrees. The time is 11:07. I'm Sobe Bay, KTRS News, the talk of St. Louis.
Welcome back, everybody. We are thrilled you're with us on this Wednesday morning Frank and Jill show. I'm Jill Farmer, along with Frank Cusimano, Connor McCarthy. Scott Morris, in his 30 years in the corporate world, did a lot of incredible things, including mergers and acquisitions and taking companies from millions of dollars of companies into billion-dollar companies. And now he's supporting local entrepreneurs in a pretty big way. The UMSL Anchor Accelerator has awarded $1.1 million in grants to 22 winners over the past 4 years. Big plans for more entrepreneurs in St. Louis to get this support. And Scott, it's pretty interesting. You had a wildly successful career in business, retired young, and then went back to get a doctorate to be a teacher to try to help other people be able to do this as well. Tell us a bit about your story.
Yeah, 100%. I thoroughly enjoyed my corporate life and career. It was great, but it was also exhausting. And I tell people that I felt like at the end, I was a hired gun where I was making really wealthy people just a little bit more wealthy, and it felt a little empty. And I was inspired by a book that I read called Halftime, where the author talks about thinking of your career in 2 parts. Your first part is focused on success, and your second part is focused on significance. And that really resonated with me. So I never see myself retiring. I want to continue to work and give back. I don't really golf much, don't fix things around the house. My wife doesn't actually like me around the house that much. So this is great. This is a way for me to give back. It's a way to be around young people, listen to their ideas, and hopefully help them on their journey. And I had no idea that a job like this even existed. I was defending my dissertation at UMSL on a Tuesday. They offered me this job on a Friday, and I had no idea. I expected to be in the classroom. Never did I imagine that you could actually use all this past skills and training to work with small businesses and then find ways to get our students engaged in the program as well. So we're educating small businesses, helping them scale, hopefully contributing to the St. Louis economy, adding more jobs for UMSL students and other folks in the St. Louis area, and letting our students learn as we teach them these scaling skills.
So how does this work from a student perspective in terms of classrooms and internships?
Yeah, so the students can participate in this accelerator program in one of 2 ways. They can take the class as a capstone for credit, or they can take it as a paid internship. But either way, we're hopefully helping the CEOs while we also educate the students. One of the things that we see with a lot of our founders is that they are so in the weeds on their business that they do everything. They don't even think to delegate it. And so if you're going to tell a student how to write a business plan to hopefully get you investors, you've got to be really clear on what you do, why you do it, and give very good instructions. So we're hopefully getting them out of that kind of wormhole that they're in. If they're flying at 20 feet off the ground, we want to get them up to 20,000 feet and be more the visionary and that true leader and have the students really participate in the drafting of the business plans as they go along.
In the world of business, when people hear about accelerators, a lot of times what we think of is what's become one of the most popular versions of that, which is a television show, which is called Shark Tank, right? Which is how businesses who have good ideas get money behind them to take their idea from where it is now to make it go big time. I know I've way oversimplified the process, but that's my rudimentary understanding of how all this works. You guys have helped at least 22 winners through the years.
35 after this
now.
last semester, yeah.
But that meant that there were as many as 1,000 other people that had ideas that didn't get chosen.
Yeah.
You have a vision that those people who didn't get chosen can still get some of that help and support as well as we're moving into the future.
For sure. So we've opened up the program. It used to be that we would only take people that won the pitch competition. We've made a couple changes. One is we no longer do the pitch competition. Instead, what we do is we want to continue to build these companies. What we've seen is that the other programs that look like us in town, once you're done with the program, you're done. And we think that's maybe not finishing the job. And so we want to take those businesses that graduate from these other programs and then build that next block, take them up the ladder to the next rung, and then get them to people like MTC, Missouri Technology Corporation, for a round of funding for that massive growth. So we're trying to partner, and we're taking businesses now only on referral from these other programs in town. But you can always take the class and just pay tuition. We offer the courses at our cost. So you can come take the class and get the same educational experience as the companies that actually win a spot in the accelerator, and get the education for a little bit of money.
Scott Morris is with us from UMSL. Has there been one idea, though, that's, wow, you thought because of your great background, hey, this really has a chance to click?
So I've seen the process now twice. Today is actually my 2-year anniversary at UMSL, so I've seen 2 of these accelerator cohorts. Each of the cohorts, there's a handful of businesses. I'll say maybe a third of them that come through. I'm like, wow, these guys are really on the verge of something, and just need a little bit of a push. And that's what we hope to help give them. Is we want to be their go-to source for networking. If they need a CPA, if they need lawyers, if they want to raise that round of funding, we want to be their first choice. Come back to us and let us help you get to that next level. And we just want to introduce them to the next people, so that we're kind of knitting together the ecosystem, the startup ecosystem in St. Louis, so that we're all supporting these businesses and hopefully do a better job of ensuring their success.
As you're helping to support these entrepreneurs and their businesses, are a lot of them in tech? Is it retail? Is it merchandise? What is the gamut of the kinds of businesses that you guys are trying to make into the next round of wildly successful entrepreneurs?
So we like to say that we're industry agnostic, and we don't have a concentration of businesses in any one particular field. We do get a pretty good mix of tech. There's a lot of food companies. They might be B2B or B2C.
Business to business, so things that average folks wouldn't necessarily know, but we're selling to businesses.
That's right. Yeah, you might be B2B might sell to Schnucks. We make something and we sell it to Schnucks or to Deerbergs. And B2C would be they sell direct to the consumer. So we see a little bit of everything. We stay away from areas that we're not qualified to really help in. So that might be like biotech or medical research, things like that. But other than that, we're pretty open to whoever comes through the door.
So the common criticism of universities around the country today, A, it's expensive, and B, you sometimes get a degree that's just not going to help you.
Right.
Now, you are the exact opposite. UMSL is not expensive, and these are like practical, real-life experiences. I'm wondering what type of hit it's been with the kids in terms of enrollment. I know you've only been at it for 2 years, but you're seeing some growth.
Yeah, we had more students involved in this last cohort than we had collectively in the first 4.
Wow.
So we're really increasing the number of participation. The number of students that are majoring in entrepreneurship at UMSL has more than doubled in the last 2 years. And exactly to your point, Frank, there was an article in the St. Louis Business Journal last spring that said something like 66 or 67% of the local employers won't hire a new undergrad because they lack relevant skills. Well, we're trying to give them that through classes like this deep experiential learning. About half of our students that participated in the cohort last spring got full-time or part-time job offers from the companies they were supporting. So this is not only giving them the education, but it may be giving them that first job, that first foot.
Yeah, and that's the advantage of UMSL, because you're in a big city where there are a lot of corporations where people can get those internships while they're going to college.
And further, so many of our students are from St. Louis and stay in St. Louis. So it's a real advantage. We're really helping the local economy in addition to helping the local students.
I want to go back to something you started our conversation with today. You, by the way, I think I failed to mention that you have been recognized in the St. Louis Business 500 as one of our region's top business leaders. You mentioned the first half of your career was about success and helping businesses become more successful, which allowed you to be successful enough to retire relatively young compared to the rest of the world. And then this second part of your career has been more about building meaning and doing stuff that sort of matters in the world. Are you finding it to deliver what it was you were seeking when you made that big switch?
I tell you, the change from the corporate world to academia has been much more difficult than I ever could have possibly imagined. But all of those things I hope to get out of the experience are true. So this is my fourth semester now at UMSL. And I have students that are coming back, into the ecosystem. They want to come take more courses, or they want to work for us part-time or be involved in something else. And so that's been just unbelievably rewarding.
One quick thought about your private equity career, which lasted, I guess, 30 years. Did you ever have one where you were like really worried for a while? You bought it at a good number. Oh my goodness, this is not really going up. And you were like concerned as heck, and then eventually it exploded. Give me a story.
Yeah, so I would say, I did somewhere, I was asked to count for one of my employers as to how many deals I had done. At the time, it was around 60, and I think I've done another 20 or so since then. So somewhere, 80-ish deals. I don't ever remember one just absolutely blowing up, but we had one where we thought we were going to operate from 2 centers. We had a platform business and thought we would just operate from this remote site from the second acquisition. And we showed up one day and there were no employees. Everybody had decided, that's it, we're not going to work for the new guys. We're just not coming in.
And you had already bought it.
We had already bought it, yeah. So we had to quickly move operations. Thank goodness we had a good team and in our platform location. And so we were able to bring in the folks from that other location and learn the business very quickly. And we just migrated everything. And it actually ended up being windfall profit because we got rid of all that overhead expense, didn't have to pay severance to employees that didn't want to be there, and so it actually worked out great. But it was a hair-raising couple months.
So what a great story to be able to tell your students now about how to have to pivot when you think the bottom has fallen out, but when you can make a quick switch like that. Really, really good stuff. Scott Morris, it was fun to hear the stories. If somebody's listening to this, they've got a spark, they've had the desire, but they don't think they have everything they need in order to launch their own successful business. How can they get in touch with what you guys are doing and maybe learn from what's happening at UMSL?
Definitely. Follow us on LinkedIn or go to our website. You can find either just by searching for UMSL Entrepreneurship and Innovation Center. All of the information about our classes, all of our programs are up to date on the website and on our LinkedIn page.
Very good stuff. Thanks so much for joining us today. Lots more coming up on the Frank and Jill Show after this.
Your dentures no longer fit? Maybe you're missing a tooth or several teeth. Visit Dr. Bowen for Simply Secure Dentures and Dental Implants. The cutting-edge, high-quality dental implants that replace all the teeth in your mouth, and it starts as low as $7,000, not the $35,000 that others charge. If you're only missing a few teeth, Dr. Bowen can permanently replace those with something you don't have to take in and out of your mouth. Learn more at simplysecuredentures.com and get the care you need and the teeth you want at Bowen Dental Care or simplysecuredentures.com.
St. Louis is home to more than 80,000 University of Missouri St. Louis alumni, where they drive the region's economy and contribute to its social and cultural well-being. At UMSL, more is what moves us. Find your more at more.umsl.edu.
Is it time to make a change with your bank? Hi, it's Julie Buck for Triad Bank. They are a full-service financial institution with 2 locations, and they've been around since 2005 with a mission to provide a wide range of commercial and personal banking services. Here's their website. It's triadbanking.com.
Ronald Reagan once famously said, "Government is not the solution, government is the problem." When it comes to economic growth, government can be a roadblock. With red tape, regulations, and subsidies, government stifles entrepreneurship and also props up businesses that deserve to go under. Unlike government, free markets encourage risk-taking, freedom to succeed or fail. Governments shouldn't be picking winners and losers, the market should. Free markets benefit the business owner and the customer by encouraging competition. Free market enabled a young man named J.C. Hall selling picture postcards in Kansas City to turn his idea into Hallmark cards. In St. Louis, the free market made it possible for Adolphus Busch to turn his father-in-law's local beer into the world's largest brewery. A free market also means you get to send your kids to the school of your choice. Learn more about free markets at showmeinstitute.org. The Show Me Minute has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
Josh Gilbert here, and I'm with Jeff Zufall, Senior Tax Strategist and Wealth Advisor at Capital Advisory Group and the author of the #1 best-selling book on the new tax law, Keep What's Yours, and my co-host on Keep What's Yours every Saturday. Jeff, what do we need to know in October?
Josh, October is officially Financial Planning Month. The One Beautiful Bill Act locked in many of the tax laws set to revert back to the 2017 rules. But there were also changes to the tax code in this law, and we can help. Since 1976, thousands of businesses have relied upon the tax strategies offered by Capital Advisory Group to help them reduce their future tax liability and stop overpaying their federal and state income taxes. If you're not taking full advantage of the tax law and you feel like you're paying more than your fair share, then let us help you plan for 2026 and take advantage of the new tax rules.
Give Capital Advisory Group a call at 636-394-5524 or online at capitaladvisorygrp.com.
Heidi Klaus, Josh Gilbert, and Bob Ramsey. Weekday afternoons at 3 on the Big 550.
Always current and always on.
KTRS. Want a song?
On my mind like the song on the radio.
Want a quote? It's the song and quote of the day on the Frank and Jill Show. Right here on the Big 550, KTRS.
Welcome back, everybody. So glad you are with us today on this Wednesday, Frank and Jill Show. Jill Farmer, Frank Cusimano, Connor McCarthy. You're listening to KTRS, the Big 550, the talk of St. Louis, of course, and lots of you weighing in on your cereal choices today. I'm loving it. Golden Grahams. Haven't thought about Golden Grahams in a very long time.
That's one of the ones that I like.
Can't be healthy, right?
No.
I've
too good.
mainly bought Golden Grahams to make these kind of s'more bars that my kids liked when they were little.
You kind of like crunch them up.
No, you just, it's, you know what a Rice Krispie treat is, but you put chocolate squares and marshmallows and Golden Grahams together, and then you kind of melt them and put them in a pan and bake them and then cut them up.
Sounds great.
It is. It does taste a lot like a s'more.
Yeah, the only cereal I have is like late at night.
Mm-hmm.
So it's only the unhealthy stuff. Peanut butter Captain Crunch normally is the one that I go with.
It's dessert.
That good.
It's a dessert. It's really what it is. It's
That
a
is
dessert
so good.
at like 9 o'clock.
Yeah. Is Crunch Berries still a thing? That was
They're around, but I go with the peanut butter.
You just want the pure. I agree. I think that's a very wise choice. Somebody else texting in, a couple people saying, if you haven't bought cereal for a while, Jill, you'll be very surprised at how expensive a box of cereal is these days.
Remember, there was a point of contention with Brenda Warner and Kurt Warner, where Brenda would not allow Kurt to buy expensive name brand cereal. He had to buy knockoff.
Right.
And he signed a contract that paid him $10 million a year, and she kind of backed off. And then he got his own cereal, I believe, yes.
So he didn't have to do the corn-like flakes. He got to actually just go with the true corn flakes.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, when I was, a young mom and working on tight budgets, we bought these bags of cereal they were kind of on the bottom.
You bought them on the bottom shelf.
On the
They're
bottom
in the big
shelf at the
bag.
grocery store in the
At
big
Aldi?
bag. And sometimes at Aldi. Yeah. Aldi, though, sometimes in the middle aisle where all the magic happens, they would have cereal that was good cereal, like brand name cereal that they normally didn't carry, that was just there as a one-time deal. That was always a special treat.
Yeah. Boy, that's not, you walk into some of these Aldis now, it's not your mother's Aldi. I mean, they are really sharp, some of them.
Right, but still the middle aisle is where a lot of the magic happens, because that's where the stuff is.
I don't think I know about this middle aisle.
Yeah, there's I mean, everything from lawn equipment to toys to various food items that must be some kind of an overstock situation that they were able to get their hands on. You can find some good stuff in there, and you can find some real what in there that is not going to last very long. It's kind of a dealer's choice on that, I think, as well. Back me up, you guys. Anybody else know what I'm talking about? The middle aisle at Aldi, 84126 Royal Banks of Missouri. Text line.
It's insider info in the grocery store. We did not know that.
Yeah. You don't do the grocery shopping in your house?
Not regularly.
Only when Monique is out of town.
Yes.
And he goes to Costco.
And then he...
Or Straub's.
Or Straub's. No, Aldi. Aldi isn't making that.
I do like Aldi. I'm impressed. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you been to that one
or the one by Costco?
The one in Olivet by
that's a
Costco.
shop there.
I used to live really close to that, and of course, that none of that stuff was there when we lived there. But that could have been dangerous for me to have an Aldi and a Costco that close. I could have done some damage for sure. I don't know if you guys saw on 60 Minutes this weekend. We've talked about him in the past. Utah Governor Spencer Cox. Once again, proving himself to be a very well-spoken and kind of calling on all Americans toward ideas of unity, something that we just don't hear a lot of from politicians on either side of the aisle very often. I thought this was a pretty interesting conversation he had with Scott Pelley on 60 Minutes over the weekend.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a terrible tragedy with, Charlie Kirk. But from that and the way he's handled that and his public appearances and his interviews, I read one poll where it said that he has 81% support among GOP voters. And I don't think the people on the left think that he's a terrible guy either. So he's done well.
Yeah, I think that you make a very, very good point about that as well. And Song of the Day today is kind of a fun one. You guys are great, and all of you who are bigger music aficionados than any of us in the studio today often will point out collabs, as the kids say, or times when great artists came together to play a song. And it hit me the other day that one of you had recommended this collab, if you will, or duet of a Bruce Springsteen song, Thunder Road. The album came out 50 years ago, 50 years, believe it or not, anniversary of that album. Back in 1975. This version of Bruce Springsteen and Melissa Etheridge singing this song together on stage, many think it's one of their favorite versions ever of this song. See what you guys think. How about those voices? And both of them are just such incredible guitar players as well.
Pretty famous. Yeah, that's neat. When two superstars get together.
Have you ever seen Bruce Springsteen in concert? I've seen him multiple times, but one of my favorites, he did remember when Unplugged, MTV Unplugged was a thing in the 90s where, they do these, it was the show, I can't remember what night it was on, but it'd be stars that you were used to seeing, musicians you were used to seeing with big bands that would just play with, guitar. And Bruce Springsteen did an Unplugged tour. We saw him at the Fox Theater, and hearing some of his songs where you're used to having the E Street Band behind him and he's just singing it with a solo guitar, excellent. I saw Melissa Etheridge last year when she was in St. Louis on tour. Again, her guitar playing and her voice has held up really, really well. She's pretty great.
And speaking of music, tomorrow we are going to have a musician here, Ethan Jones, who's played at every big venue in St. Louis, the Paget, Busch Stadium. And you talk about a variety. I saw him perform Saturday at a party, but he'll do everything from Billy Joel, My Life, to Al Green, Let's Stay Together. He is really versatile, really talented, and he's going to be performing music live for us tomorrow at 10:35 on the Big 550 KTRS.
Yes, I've asked a couple of my other musician friends, and apparently he's He's well known as just a great musician, plays a lot of stuff in town. It'll be interesting to hear. I'm always curious what it's like to make a living as a musician in St. Louis in this day and age. So I think it's going to be fun to have that conversation with him. I'm glad he left such an impression on you and you made that happen for tomorrow.
All right. By the way, I just got this note from Tarek in terms of programming here. The next 3 movies we have planned, St. Elmo's Fire, Psycho, and then he brought this up and I kind of smiled, but you can't, again, it's just such a good movie. The Bridges of Madison County, in that order. Clint Eastwood, Mr. Dirty Harry, making the most sensitive movie, and I mean, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I loved the book, and then it was Madison County is in Iowa. It's right next to Des Moines, and so we would go do stories at the Bridges of Madison County. They filmed the movie after I moved to St. Louis, but I have a lot of friends who got to be there when that was kind of a big deal, as you can imagine, around those parts, to have Clint Eastwood and Meryl Streep just hanging out in your small town. Kind of some fun stories, so I'm excited for that choice. Tarek's a good movie picker, and he knows how to pick stuff that you guys weigh in on.
I thought for sure that you would call them and say, we're going Bridges of Madison County or we're not going to do another movie.
No, in my experience, I let Tarek pick the movies, and I say, I'm game, I'll do whatever. Is that how you do it too?
No.
I didn't think so.
I think Frank's the only one who's vetoed movies before. Yeah.
By the way, speaking of Des Moines, I thought of you. What is the backstory on this Ian Roberts, the superintendent of Des Moines Public Schools?
Yeah, that was unfolding as we were there.
It was. Okay.
Yeah, and so
arrested
it was
by Immigration and Custom.
Yes, apparently, nearest I can tell. I was reading all kinds of stuff over the weekend because he was very, very popular, and even Iowa's very Republican governor who's been somewhat of a foe of public education there. He had forged a bridge with her, and they had a strong relationship. So very beloved, but his parents were from Guyana, I believe. He was an Olympic athlete from that country, lived in the United States, worked, got his PhD, multiple colleges, and along the lines, I don't know if it was just a situation where he never did what he was supposed to do in terms of visas and following the proper channels, or whether it was his claim is, I believe, that it was an administrative error, not due to his own fault. He was caught in the middle of all of it. But I do think it's strange that when they came to arrest him, he ran. So that did not help the cause.
Gun, or he had some type of
no.
revolver?
The gun charge was from a hunting rifle from years ago, because he is an avid hunter when he was in Pennsylvania. So that's the charge, and that's where a lot of people are kind of crying foul that the press release from immigration officials did include at least 4 errors. So that's part of what his supporters are hanging on now, is there's stuff that's actually provable in public record is not totally accurate. But it'd be interesting to see what happens. It takes the whole controversy up front.
Yeah, another controversy from Des Moines, I tell you.
I know, all the crazy stuff happening there for sure. You know, one of our guests yesterday that you guys just love, Ryan Raphael, comes in, and even though he admitted he worked 16 hours a day when we get into this enrollment period time mid-October for Medicare, he's so calm about it. He loves it. He's clearly doing the life's work that he was meant to do. And he just answers all of those questions that you guys have with just such calmness. Even though things like Aetna canceling plans over in Illinois, he's like, no problem. We'll find one that's even better for people making that appointment. He does gently suggest, if you're in the market for either making an enrollment change or it's time for you to begin this conversation and the enrollment period begins mid-October, that today's the day. Put it on your to-do list to call him and get that appointment set up so you can get the ball rolling and feel that peace and freedom that comes on the other side of having all of your Medicare enrollment done. All of the questions answered about which Part D prescription plan you need, which Advantage plan is the best one for you. He said it takes usually less than an hour, and people always feel so much better when they have it done. Call Ryan directly. This is his cell phone, 314-368-6808, or visit MedicareManSTL.com. For the right plan, call the Medicare Man.
And now, KTRS weather from the John Beal Roofing Weather Desk.
Welcome to October, my friends. New month, but not much change in the local weather pattern. Dry and warm. What else is new, right? Although there is a change in the sky today. Some mid and upper level cloud cover drifting through. Partly sunny overall, but still a hot one. Up to 87 this afternoon. 75 would be normal. We'll back it down into the 70s after the sun goes down this evening, and then to 64 for the overnight low. Back to mostly sunny on Thursday. Boy, another hot day tomorrow at about 88. And honestly, I see very little change in this pattern all the way through at least the weekend. From the First Alert 4 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers on the Big 550 KTRS.
John Bill Roofing is the home of the lowest price roofing guarantee. Get a free estimate today at johnbealroofing.com.
Recently, a good friend of mine was changing the light fixture in their kitchen, and they took the light fixture off the ceiling, and they looked inside the ceiling and said, "What is the phone number to Michael Baldy?" If they would have listened to me, they would have put Michael Baldy's phone number in their phone, because everybody needs a good electrician on speed dial. So here you go. The next time you need an electrician, you need to remember Michael Baldy and Baldy Electric. So the phone number, 314-968-9999. Indoor, outdoor, an old Victorian home, knob and tube wiring, and anything and everything in between. You see, Michael Baldy is a licensed electrician, and he has a team ready to go. Whether it's something for the ceiling in the kitchen, something for the lights for the holidays, whatever it may be, Michael Baldy and Baldy Electric. BaldyElectric.com, 314-968-9999, because everybody needs a good electrician on speed dial. BaldyElectric.com. Some of my fondest memories as a kid is heading down to the hardware store. You had to pick up a couple of nails, a couple of screws, maybe a gallon of paint, whatever it may be, right? It was your friendly neighborhood hardware store. Well, those don't exist anymore in St. Louis, except for Schnarr's Hardware. They have two locations in Webster Groves and in Clayton Road in Ladue. Schnarr's Hardware is that place where you go in and you can get that bucket of paint, you can get a couple of screws. The advice is always free. And the one thing about Schnarr's Hardware that every single family hardware store used to have, and that is the smell. It smells like a hardware store. It's got the selection. I don't know how they do it. It's a small store, but they got everything you ever need. They got the paint. They got paint matching. They've got big green eggs. They've got screws and nails and everything a hardware store should have. Schnarr's Hardware, 2 locations, 1 great hardware store. Schnarr's Hardware, we'll see you there.
Your biggest choice in home restoration is who do you trust with your home, your most valued asset? Few can match Banner Construction's experience and dedication to excellence. Banner is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor and Pella Windows specialist. Restoration is a one-time opportunity to have Banner's design team show you architectural options to make your home the neighborhood showcase. Call for a free consultation, 314-569-1050. And have a banner day.
Hey, it's John Carney with an invite. Not till I come to my house, that would be boring. How about a fall home tour at Innsbruck, Saturday, October 18th, noon to 4. And if you haven't been out there, this is a great opportunity to see the A-frames, to see the tree houses, the beautiful homes, the condos, and one of them could be yours. But what a great way to find out. Enjoy the lakes, the golf, and more. Out at Innsbruck, open house on Saturday the 18th, InnsbruckResort.com.
Michael's Baths, operated by Michael Gower and his daughter Melody. If you want a bathroom remodel, Michael's Baths will give you a free quote. Walk-in showers that all look like natural stone, maybe some grab bars, whatever you need. All they use are American-made products, so you're not at the mercy of any tariff increases. Right now, get a free shower door or $500 off a bathroom remodel. Michael's Baths, 636-775-0800, or online at michaelsbaths.com.
Welcome back, everybody, and we want to welcome a new sponsor to the show, TB Exteriors. Thrilled to be telling you about what they do for St. Louis homeowners. Of course, you've all noticed how severe St. Louis storms are becoming, occurring more frequently. Through it all, Your roof is paying the price. Boy, don't you know it. And I'm not just talking about the May 16th tornado, so many other times as well. One of the great things that makes TB Exteriors stand out with the crowd is they will assist you with your roofing insurance claims. They're going to provide you with quality roofing, quality solutions, but they understand that often navigating and negotiating with the insurance company, so many of my friends who were hit by the May 16th tornado in that Clayton area, it's just been a nightmare dealing with some of their insurance companies. And that's where you need that trusted partner in TB Exteriors, help you navigate those claims, and also make sure that you're getting quality care to take care of whatever it is you need in your house. And if you didn't get hit by the storm, but you just know you could be down for some problems over time, your gutter, your siding, your decking, now is the time to make the update. Just call them, have them come out and give you an estimate. That's TB Exteriors.
All right, so Joe, you're familiar with Chuck Norris, of course.
Yes. I can't say I've actually ever seen, much of his work, I will say, if I'm being honest.
I think I'd agree with you. I don't think I have either.
You were watching Walker, Texas Ranger?
No.
That was like his big one, right?
Yeah, that was definitely his biggest. So anyway, he's 85 years old, and the martial arts legend just hiked Lassen Peak, a 10,457-foot volcano in Northern California.
Wow.
And he posted photos on his Instagram to prove it. He said, quote, "What a day. I had the pleasure of hiking Lassen Peak once again." Isn't that unbelievable? 85 years old. He looks magnificent, looks the same way he always looked.
Yeah, that's really incredible. So it's been almost a year. In a week, it'll be a year since I left and did the Kilimanjaro trip last year. And it was really, really hard, at least for me. I had just turned 56 at the time. It was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life.
And how high was that?
19,300 feet at the top, but who's counting? But I say that not because I did anything special, but there was a 78-year-old woman on one of the other groups that was kind of hiking around the same track we were. She made it not quite to the peak, but very, very close, within 1,000 feet of the peak. She did it so slowly that she had to unfortunately come down for safety reasons before she could make it. I think she could have technically, if you could climb safely in the dark, she could have done it, but she didn't make it. And then we met another person on the safari who had done it. He was 87, and he did the climb when he was 81 years old.
Oh, boy. That is impressive.
Isn't that impressive?
81, yeah. By the way, the quotes in social media after this story came out, Chuck doesn't use hiking trails. The trees move out of his way when he's walking. Chuck Norris doesn't carry bear spray. The bear carries Chuck spray. That's pretty good.
Oh, that's really, really good. Have you ever been much of a hiker, or do you like being in the mountains, or has that ever had any appeal for you?
I mean, we did some in Lake Tahoe, but I wouldn't say that's high on my priority list.
Did you enjoy it when you're doing it, or it's just not something you're
just to get the workout
seeking?
out of it? Yeah. I mean, I'll do anything to get a good workout out of it, but probably wouldn't be I'd rather walk 36 holes in 100-degree heat carrying my bag.
Not an outdoorsman is what you're saying.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Do you go camping ever?
No.
Have you ever gone camping?
I think I had to go with Brooke or Dom when they were like
a
little
Boy
kids.
Scout?
Something like that. Maybe once. Yeah, at least about one time.
But not when you were a kid. You didn't do it. You weren't in scouting and stuff as a kid.
Yeah, I have a brother that has the same DNA as me, one of them. And he doesn't know who Babe Ruth is. And all he does is hunt and fish. And I've basically never done any of that. And he knows nothing about sports or played a sport. I don't know how we could be related. So
that's funny. Yeah, because that's people who are really into that side of the outdoors life, the hunting and fishing. It's pretty all-encompassing. It's as all-encompassing as golf is in many ways.
It is,
so
yeah,
there isn't a lot of times room for both of those. Where are you on a scale of 1 to 10? I love camping as a 10. I would rather never do it again in my life as a 1.
Like a 4.
Okay.
Like I'll do it, but I don't love it.
And you're a
About
1?
a 2.
A 2. What if Spencer, Alexandra, or Zoe or KK says at some point, Grandpa, all I ever want to do is go fishing with you and go camp for a night and roast marshmallows on the fire. It's my dream. Or in the backyard even, put a tent up and do it. Would you do it?
I would never say no to them, yes. But I'd then suggest, what about a holodome instead? We can swim all night and have room service. But, yeah, I would do anything for them.
Okay.
Well, that's why it's the 2. Yeah.
Yeah. But you haven't had friends that are like, hey, let's all go out.
No, I do it. I feel like I would never choose to do it. Like, if it was given my choice. Like, hey, what is your ideal trip? Oh, it's going camping for 4 days in a tent, and that's probably not it.
Okay, good to know. I do love it. I guess it's because I grew up doing it, and I don't do it all the time now. But there's just something about getting away. It simplifies things a little bit. Although if you've ever packed for a camping trip, there's nothing simple about it. So I don't really.
You have to pack a
You have to
bunch of
pack
stuff.
everything that you could. As one of my friends said, "How about I just stay home and use all the stuff that's already in my house instead of packing up everything? Then I have to, augment the fire." I don't know. It's being out in nature.
What can you cook that's good out there? What have you eaten that's good?
I think cooking on the fire is a blast. I mean, even if you're just making it really simple, you're just cooking yourself a bratwurst and heating up some beans and some broccoli salad out of the cooler. That's fun, but you can get more elaborate and do, like back in Girl Scouts or in Boy Scouts, you're taught how to make these elaborate, tinfoil packet meals with steak and stews and all kinds of stuff. Now, I will say, when I helped lead a Boundary Waters trip when I was in college, where we were portaging, and that was hard work, a lot of what we took, because we were so weight conscious because we were carrying everything on our backs, we took meals, MREs, which are meals ready to eat, which are things that you just add boiling water to, that you
Not
heat
very
on the
tasty,
fire.
those are.
Oh, they're so salty. By the end of the week, it was like, I just need anything but those. But, they kept us, they have high calorie, they keep you nourished and fueled for doing your hiking every day.
One text, my idea of camping is Holiday Inn without a pool.
You're really roughing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's well said. Yeah, I think it's one of those things. Like, I have a sister that absolutely would rather do anything. She'd rather hang by her toenails than ever camp, and I really like it. So it's one of those things I think you just either do. And that's the thing. A lot of my friends who are much more physically able than me said they would never do the Kilimanjaro thing because it was the camping, sleeping on the side of the mountain. It was our coldest night was in the 20s, so it wasn't horrible, but it was still pretty cold. That's still pretty cold to sleep in. And most of my friends said, don't ever put me down for that. That sounds like heck. But I will say, the food, the fact that our staff, the people that took us and guided us, brought the most incredible food. They fed us like you just can't believe that whole trip.
By the way, I want you to take a look at this picture, because then I'll read this text. This is Chaim Bloom. You got a good look at him here?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And somebody texting in, Frank, I think you overstated things when you said that Chaim Bloom could be confused in looks as another John F. Kennedy Jr. I didn't say it like that. I said he had the JFK Jr. kind of look about him. And then it's a good witty line, by the way. He says, that's like saying Charlie Tuna could be confused for Mickey Rooney. Get some glasses. Don't you think that's...
I will say, I just saw him on TV over our shoulder, and on TV, it was a little more flattering than that picture in the Post-Dispatch. That's not as flattering of a picture of him, but he's a handsome man.
You're saying kind of like a big chin? Is that why you're going with the JFK?
Dark
look?
hair, striking.
Dark hair.
Is he a tall guy like JFK was?
Probably 6 feet. Yeah.
Okay. So tall to some of us, for sure.
Here's a good little... what they say about the broccoli salad. Camping and broccoli salad don't sound like they go together.
I hear you. A good point. But somebody else says everything tastes better when cooked at camp. I agree. I think that's absolutely true. Something else that always sounds better is when it comes out of Jeff Zufall's mouth, our friend at Capital Advisory Group. He just knows so much about managing money, making money last in retirement, setting goals, living the life you want to live, and then having a financial strategy to actually make that happen. All while making sure that that happens by understanding what taxes mean to you and making sure that you don't overpay on your taxes, that you keep what's yours. Of course, that's the name of the #1 best-selling book on taxes that Jeff has written. It's the name of the show that we air every single weekend along with Josh Gilbert here on KTRS, the Big 550, the Talk of St. Louis, on Saturdays. It's a popular show, and there's good reason. Make this weekend the weekend that you make the appointment to tune in and listen to it. I guarantee you're going to learn something, and you're probably going to say, it's exactly what I needed to hear to understand Jeff's the guy I want to work with. If you want to set your appointment up now, write this down, 636-394-5524, capitaladvisorygrp.com.
Altair Travel and Cruises is proud to sponsor KTRS Pink in support of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and they're partnering with one of their preferred suppliers, Alma Waterways. River cruising is a hot way to travel right now, and Altair and Alma Waterways are offering $100 off any new Alma Waterways river cruise bookings made through Altair October 1st through the 31st. Call Altair today to book your next river cruise at 314-968-9600 or online at altairtravel.com.
Let's talk about high school for just a moment, because that young man you brought home from the hospital yesterday, you're going to blink your eyes, and all of a sudden now you start talking about high schools. Well, that's where St. Mary's Southside Catholic High School comes in, because it's an all-boys, independent Catholic high school. And what St. Mary's will do is they will prepare your son to be the future. Whether it's college, trade work, or a career of their choice, St. Mary's, over the years, has produced a whole lot of millionaires and a couple of billionaires along the way. And when you graduate from St. Mary's, you have that alumni as a resource. Schedule your visit today and find out more about St. Mary's. stmaryshs.com. That's stmaryshs.com. They will teach the skills that are needed to thrive and survive in the 21st century, as well as teaching old school values. To find out more, stmaryshs.com. That's stmaryshs.com.
Stay connected with the Big 550 KTRS, streaming 24/7 online at KTRS.com or on the KTRS app. Powered by JBL Financial. Stream Straight Talk on Retirement every Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m.
Are you looking for a simple, clean, budget-friendly, no surprises, no gimmicks remodel of your bathroom? Michael's Baths is who you call. Right now, when you call Michael's Baths at 636-775-0800, you'll get an estimate that's 30 to 50% less of everybody else, and they'll throw in a free shower door or $500 off a bath remodel. Michael's Baths, for 30-plus years, guaranteed happiness. michaelsbaths.com.
Truck drivers, don't miss out on the unmatched consistency of a Schneider driving job. At Schneider, you can find a driving position that fits your lifestyle and goals, all while getting the pay you deserve. Plus, Schneider drivers operate state-of-the-art, well-maintained equipment and have access to award-winning benefits and a 24/7 support team. Explore Schneider's huge selection of driving jobs today and find your perfect fit at SchneiderJobs.com. That's SchneiderJobs.com.
Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start looking and feeling your best with Hair Grow by New Nordic. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com, or at your local CVS.
All right, welcome back. We want to thank the good people from Kuna. They sponsor our weekly special where we bring in the best restaurants in the region and have them tell their story. And many of them do business with Kuna because Kuna is outstanding at what they've done for over 100 years. Tomorrow, Epic Pizza is going to be in the house. Jill, I know you're a fan. There's one right in your neighborhood, right?
Yeah, or just down the street in Soulard neighborhood. It's good. It's very good.
We also got a good comparison with Chaim Bloom and the actor Rami Malek, who played Freddie Mercury in that outstanding
Yes, on
movie.
the Royal Banks, Missouri text line. What's coming up on the press box tonight?
Not much. We get tuna and stricken, so it won't be a great program. No, it'll be really good. Andy with some great insight on the Blues, and Charlie is Charlie. I'm headed down to Centene as we speak. We're going to sit down a guy whose situation with John Mozeliak is eerily similar, Doug Armstrong. They live a mile apart. They both have two kids, one boy, one girl. One is Belle Reeve, one is Ole Warson. They both won a title as an assistant GM, and they both won a title as a GM. And they like wine, and they're both on the way out. Well, John is out, and Doug is going to cede control eventually to Alexander Steen. So amazingly similar careers, and they're both going out at the same time.
But you think one of those two's headed to the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, Doug's got a great chance to join his father, who is in the Hall of Fame.
Wow. Talk about a family legacy. Some very fun texts on the Royal Banks of Missouri text line for you guys. For sure, they don't call it the great outdoors for nothing. Of course, that's very true, Mary Lynn. I like that as well. And somebody else said, I've never heard of this before, but I absolutely love it. From the 314, we glamp and glide. We camp, but we're really in our house on wheels. which is, I guess, a little more like glamping, right? And then we glide. We ride bikes, but they're electric bikes. So what we're doing in this phase of life is glamping and gliding. I absolutely love it.
But an electric bike, even if you're not getting the workout, you're getting something out
It's
of it.
great.
It's
And we
better
took
than
some
watching
heat
Netflix.
yesterday when we were talking about it with Dr. Rick, and somebody said, don't vilify or put it down. It gets a lot of people out and about and active, and you are very right. How about this one, Frank? Our lives are very similar. I don't own a sleeping bag, but I can tell you the starting lineup of the 68 Cardinals, and I've had 2 holes in 1.
Oh, got me by 1. Yeah, that's very important.
Where'd you have your hole in 1?
In Lexington, Kentucky.
Ah.
With an orange ball. I'm embarrassed. Like
Well-
the first time I ever played. And like one of the first 10 times I ever played.
Have Brooke or Alex ever had one?
No. And they're like, it's insane that they haven't. We talk about it all the
Oh, so you hold this over them.
Yeah. That's one small victory in the golf world that I have over them.
And what was the par on the hole?
139 yards. I think a 9-iron.
I wonder what
Monique has it framed. I go, Monique, could you just stuck a white ball in there? Now everybody goes downstairs. They see with an orange ball. What are you, goofball? You hit with an orange ball?
I guarantee it was a free ball that somebody had given you at the station for sure. Hey, before we let you go today, remember Premier Heating and Cooling. You need them. We got those air conditioners rolling. I checked today. We're going to be in this temperatures that still need air conditioning for at least the next 10 days, which means although we got a little bit of a fake fall about 3 weeks ago for a few days, we have been continuing summer well through September. It's going well into October, which means that our air conditioners still working overtime. And many of you have admitted to me that you didn't get around to getting that clean and check done, or your air conditioner is not doing the work that it used to do. You notice parts of your house, it's still pretty sweaty in there, and somebody is freezing in one bedroom, somebody's dying of heat in the other bedroom because you don't quite have the system to be able to keep your entire house comfortable and cool in the summer or warm in the winter. All of that is solved when you have an expert technician from Premier Heating and Cooling come out, take a look at your system in your house, and make sure that you have the one that you've always dreamed of. Uniform temperatures, reliability, more efficiency. All of that is solved when you take advantage of the incredible new technology that's available in heating and cooling units out there. PremierHeatingCooling.net, 636-916-1122. Give them a call today. Make it a great day, everybody. Carney Show up next with Julie, John, and of course Max as well. Heidi Glausch Show later in the day. Keep your dial right here. Make it a great day, everybody. You sure deserve it.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy. In 2011, I founded Wesley Financial Group with one goal in mind, to help honest folks out of their timeshares permanently. Today, I run Wesley with my 2 sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we'd want our own family treated. That philosophy has helped us grow into the largest, most trusted timeshare cancellation company in the United States. Fortune magazine even recognized us as one of the best places to work. Why?